Can you hear the screaming? I can, but I don't think you can. 3 weeks ago, I started getting sick. I went to the hospital looking for answers. I didn't think much of it at the time. I usually get sick around this time of year when the weather starts changing. They sent me home with a prescription for some severe flu meds and a new steroid I hadn't heard of before. Wanting to get better so I could get back to work sooner rather than later, I stopped by the pharmacy on my way home. After handing the prescription to the pharmacist, I took out my phone to start mindlessly scrolling through social media while sitting in the waiting area. My friend Jenny had posted a picture of herself, laying in bed with a box of tissues beside her. I guess she was sick too. A few minutes later, the pharmacist came back to the front counter calling my name. "Davis?" he said, in an alarmed tone, or at least louder than he should have. I headed to the counter. "That's me." He pulled a bottle from the sack of meds and pointed at the small print on the side of it. "Are you aware of the side effects of this steroid?" he asked. "Well, no," I replied. Why on earth would I know? I thought to myself. "This is Ibmaz. It's new and it has a tendency to interact poorly with other stimulants, including one of the flu meds that's been prescribed, though it's uncommon. You're not taking anything else, are you?" he asked, as he tilted his head and looked at me over the top of his glasses. "Nope," I replied. "All right, just don't take anything else other than what's been prescribed to you, and you should be all right. You look healthy enough." I always hated that phrase. What does it even mean? Do I look like I can go to work even though I feel like shit? If you ask my boss, then probably. "If you start seeing spots, stop taking the steroid and call your doctor immediately, okay?" "Sure," I said agreeably. I just wanted the meds so I could go home and rest. I left the counter with my 2 bottles of too expensive product. But what could I do? Guess I'll just eat ramen for a few meals. I pulled into my driveway around 6:30. The sun was beginning to take on that odd orange color when there are too many pollutants in the air. I stepped through my door, dropped my keys, and headed to the kitchen to grab a glass of water to take my meds. After filling my glass, I pulled the bottle from the bag and read the directions. "Take twice a day with food," the steroid said. I opened up my fridge, but there wasn't much other than condiments, and I wasn't about to go back out. I felt too much like crap. I thought about ordering something on an app, but after checking, I found it was nearly a 90-minute wait to get food. "Screw it," I said aloud. I wasn't going to worry about it. What's an upset stomach compared to the aches and pains going on in my head right now? I took 2 of each pill, the dose for a whole day. I figured I was going to sleep until tomorrow morning anyway, so it would be okay. As I laid down in bed, I grabbed my phone to scroll through social media while I fell asleep. But I noticed I had a message from my friend Robert, Jenny's boyfriend. He was asking if I could check in on Jenny while he was at work. He was worried after seeing her last post, considering her new condition. We were all friends, so normally that wouldn't be a problem, but I felt like crap. I'd just seen a picture of Jenny while I was at the pharmacy. I opened up the app and pulled up Jenny's profile page. I saw the picture with the tissues from earlier, but there was a new one. It was a close-up of her face, and she was pulling down on her lower eyelid to show the camera something. I couldn't quite make out what I saw. My vision was getting darker, but I could see what looked like a small, rainbow-tinted puddle in the corner of her eyes as I drifted off. Was that a spot? I woke up later to a banging on my door. I looked at the clock as I got up. It was almost 11:15 in the morning. "Hold on, I'm coming," I said loudly as I stumbled out of my bed. My vision was kind of blurry, and I was having a little trouble focusing as I got up. My head was throbbing, with an intense point of pressure at the back of my skull. Probably still sick, I thought. I'll need to order some food and take some more meds after this, I thought to myself. The bangs came loudly again from the front door. "Coming!" I yelled. I looked through the peephole and saw Jenny, bouncing nervously back and forth on each foot. I shrugged to myself. We're both sick. What's the harm? Maybe we can keep each other company. I opened the door, but before it was even halfway open, she burst through the door.
"Do you hear it?"
she yelled as she came through, quickly pushing the door closed and locking it behind her.
"Do you hear it?"
she said again, but louder. "Hear what?" I asked, my head still pounding.
The screaming. I hear it everywhere, from everyone. Robert woke me up an hour ago screaming at me, just screaming. He wouldn't stop. I tried to make him stop, but he wouldn't listen. He just kept screaming at me.
I fought through the headache to reply. "Well, what was he screaming at you about? Did you fight with him or have a misunderstanding?" I asked as calmly as I could manage through her yelling.
"No, you don't understand. It was just screaming. For no reason. I yelled at him for 10 minutes to stop screaming. But every time he opened his mouth, he just kept screaming. I left and drove away when I couldn't get him to stop."
Whoa, it's okay, it's okay. I'm sure things are fine, I said, even though I wasn't sure what to believe.
"No, things are not fine. On the radio, people on the sidewalk, it's all screaming, wailing. It's just crazy. No one sounds right. Everything is just wrong."
The pounding inside my head grew stronger. "Listen, I'm sick, and the volume of your voice is making it worse. Please lower your voice," I said, motioning for her to stop. I paused for a second as something dawned on me. "Wait," I said slowly, trying to gather my thoughts. "Do I sound like I'm screaming?"
"No, but you're the fourth person I've tried. Everyone else just screamed when I called them. You didn't answer, or I thought I'd try coming over, but... Did you just say you were sick too?"
"Yeah, I think I just slept for over 13 or 14 hours, actually," I said as the ringing in my head started getting worse. "I need to eat something," I said as I turned toward the kitchen.
"Wait. Your eyes."
"Yeah, I'm tired."
"No, they look like mine."
She took out her phone and took a quick picture of me, nearly blinding me with the flash.
"Here."
she said. I looked at the picture and quickly noticed a rainbow-tinted spot near the iris of my left eye. "The hell?" I said as I grabbed the phone to examine it closer.
"Hold on."
she said as she ran to my couch and grabbed the TV remote.
"What do you hear?"
she said as she turned on the TV. It was ungodly. I could see the reporter move her mouth, but the sounds coming out of it were like a banshee, like some horrid creature from hell. What is this? What the hell is this? I yelled as I covered my ears.
That's what I hear. That's everywhere, from everyone, but you.
Jenny said at a near whisper, as a tear started rolling down her face. No! No! I ran to the bedroom and grabbed my phone. Pulling up my call history, I tapped the screen to redial the clinic I had been at yesterday afternoon. I walked back towards the living room as I listened to the ringing, waiting for someone to pick up. The ringing stopped. "Hey, turn off the TV," I said to Jenny as I waited to hear the receptionist's voice. Jenny turned off the TV, but the screaming didn't stop. It was just replaced by a more shrill, wailing noise from the phone. "Hello? Hello, can you hear me?" I said into the phone. The wailing paused, but quickly continued again on the other end of the phone. I threw the phone down in disgust as I put my hands over my ears. "What the hell is going on?" I said as I sat down on the couch. Jenny picked up the phone and ended the call. She tapped a few buttons on the screen and handed it towards me.
"We can still read."
I took the phone, staring intently at it. Sure enough, I could still read the text posts. I almost clicked on a video someone had posted, but quickly stopped myself. I didn't want to hear the shrieking again. I saw a new post from Robert. He was asking if anyone had seen Jenny, saying that she wasn't okay, but to call him if someone saw her. I went to my window and looked outside, trying to calm myself. A neighbor's kid was running by on the sidewalk below. The tiny terror had now been cursed with a new, more horrifying voice, like a demon giggling at a new person to torture. I closed the blinds, for whatever good that did to block the noise. I sat on the couch, I covered my ears, and I prayed it would all go away. As time went on, Jenny and I found out we weren't alone. Through social media, we'd found others like ourselves. The news reports that slowly started coming out, that we could read, told a confusing story, the details of which differed depending on the venue. But they all had one thing in common. People were unable to hear other people's voices or words. We could only hear screaming. Days passed. We found that books, comics, and printed media had become our best friends, a replacement for TV and movies. We could still watch these things with the sound muted and subtitles turned on, but it didn't stop the actors' mouths from hanging open in an ever-widening, never-ending scream. Robert had come over eventually. By covering his mouth and other expressive gestures, we convinced him to stop trying to talk to us. We communicated through text and handwritten notes during his visits, which are growing more and more frequent. I can see how this hurts him, not being able to express his feelings verbally. That doesn't stop him or his love for Jenny. He still brings us groceries and food while we stay locked away in my apartment, now soundproofed to give us some relief from the shrieks of people passing by. There are support groups growing online. Chat rooms and forums are becoming more prevalent than in recent years. It helps, but it will never make this feel normal. Something is coming. I hear it every time I'm near Jenny. A little louder each day, like an agitated cat who hasn't been fed. But what can I do other than be a good friend, make her comfortable, and play wordless classical music through headphones wrapped around her swelling belly for the new life growing within. Can you hear the screaming? I sure can. But I don't think you can. Not yet, anyway.